we'll rock and roll. So, hello everyone. Okay. Welcome to All In on Real Estate. I'm your host, Aaron Goins. I started this meetup because when I was in the military, no one in my circles talked about real estate. A lot of times they talked about what we call TSP. They talk about debt. They talk about other finances. And a lot of times when people deploy, you see a lot more dog straws and pickup trucks on the road. I want to apologize a little bit for technical difficulties with the meetup earlier. I did email everybody. Hopefully everybody can come on because I saw we have quite a few people that's going to be attending. So hopefully everybody can. I'm very, very excited for our guest speaker today. She has a presentation. I can't wait. She's on fire. I saw her, giving praise my man, AJ Osborne. So I'm super excited. Masha, what's going on? How you doing?
Hello. So glad to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak at your meetup and at your event. It's really an honor to be here and share with you guys what I've been up to, and not more than that, more really what actions can you really take after this presentation? Because one thing is great to absorb some knowledge, but really what action steps and what is really possible here. So my name is Masha Klapanova, and I am a self-storage investor, and my company name is Top Choice Investment Group. And I chose the name Top Choice for a reason. You will find out why. And so I'm actually originally from Russia, currently live in Miami, and investing pretty much mostly focusing on Southeast. North Carolina is our primary market, secondary is Florida, and then we're looking honestly self-storage. It's all over United States. And before just telling you why self-storage is such an amazing asset class, I want to tell you how I decided to even pursue it. It was about 2 years ago. I just took a course. I put a big investment to take a residential real estate investing course and pursue like flipping and all this other good stuff. However, I knew that commercial real estate was offering something special, and especially self-storage. So without thinking much, I went to see my mentor, my coach, and ask her what she thinks about it. And surprisingly, usually she's very motivated and very encouraging. This time she was like, I don't think it will be possible for you to become a self-storage investor. At first you have to be pursuing at least for like 2 years, heavily doing like residential real estate, like do several flips, rentals, and then maybe after that you can do like commercial self-storage. And I was like, that response didn't settle with me. And I'm like, let me go dig deeper and let me talk to other experts. And I went to a bunch of webinars, obviously LinkedIn, Instagram, all that good stuff. And many, surprisingly, many people, there was a really mixed answers. And you know what, no matter what, I just felt that commercial real estate was the thing, and if I will put my 100% focus on it, let me see what happens. And let me prove to myself, not to my previous mentor coach, but to myself that it is possible. And yes, it is possible. I'm a living proof. It actually happened and it's happening. And I'm so excited to really share with you again, like I was saying, not only why I chose self-storage, but what actions can you take to also potentially maybe diversify if you're already doing some other commercial or residential real estate, or really maybe even just do 100% self-storage like I decided. Great. So let me actually share slides. Let me see. Here we go. Can you see me? Yes. Okay. Awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what I want for you to go away with 3 ways how you can get involved with self-storage. So by the end of this presentation, I hope you will get it. And so self-storage. Why self-storage? These boring metal doors, what can be exciting about it? I always ask myself this question too. What? So we will really explore, because multifamily. I mean, look at this beautiful asset class. I mean, there's so much probably going on. Why are people talking so much about self-storage? So I will start just to mention that self-storage, yes, it's an asset class, but it's also a retail business. So it kind of have benefits of both. Not only you benefits of depreciation, right? The cost segregation, that all those benefits of appreciation. You also have benefits of being at it as a real estate business. Sorry, as a just a business. And the first thing I want to start with is what I avoid the most, and what I mean, one of the things that I dread is human error, right? This one concerns me for sure. Human error, I mean, it could be on purpose, like stealing, or it could be by mistake. We all make mistakes. So what I like about self-storage, that typically on average, we use 1.5 person to manage it. You don't use a half a person, but typically it's 1 to 2. And I will tell you even more, where, for example, in multifamily, you have 5 to 6 people. So there's difference for making that error is already definitely diminishing. So right now, very typical what you use, we call them boots on the ground. And those people that they're not property, they're not facility caretaker, like they're not property managers, they're just sitting there and doing their boots on the ground. They come in whenever it's needed, time to time, and check in on the property. And at the same time, virtual assistants. My goal, we don't have that yet, but what I'm going to be implementing, it's not something common in industry in general, is a virtual manager. To have that virtual manager that will actually coordinate that boots on the ground. And it's all really possible to make it happen. And just think about it, how much salaries you don't have to pay, all those benefits. And you just don't need to have someone sitting in their office and picking their nose in the storage facility. Because I mean, it's all can be right now unmanned and automated. Not 100%, but really close to 100%, like really close to that. So one example is just those kiosks. You can go like put those kiosks there, like you just come in and rent your unit. You can even have a virtual person right there talking to you. Can really actually call a person and really speak to someone, where someone's sitting somewhere and can be managing like that several facilities from one place. You don't need to have one person. So easy to come in, check, and you get access. But honestly, not even that necessary. We all have this tool that's called smartphone. What would you do? Like, what would you do today if you need a storage? First thing you're going to do, probably go to Google, storage near me. Google will pop up. You will choose one. You will go to their website. You will book you will do rental booking online. And here you go. You're going to get a gate access. Pum, pum, pum. And you open, you get in. And in more high-end properties, you will see a Bluetooth even for access to your units. So, I mean, why do I need a human being there? I don't really need that. That's just technology. So, and the beauty about it, let's say this person didn't pay me. They didn't pay me. So what's going to happen? They're going to lose their access to the gate. Their gate code will be removed. And if there's upscale, you can even don't let them get into their unit. As simple as that. And then comes in what? If they don't keep not paying, what happens? That happens. Storage wars, right? We all know that. Reality, the real life, of course, drama. And let me tell you, it's not so real. It's partially real. Usually we find a bunch of garbage and junk there that we just hoping to recover that loss of month. I mean, usually it's like 1 month, like plus those things that we do legally, which is not much really. So usually we just try to recover. Sometimes you find some treasures, but it's rare. But let me tell you, the beauty about it, and anybody who's a multifamily or residential or other asset classes, our tenant landlord laws are just amazing. We don't have evictions. We don't have much turnover costs, and we don't need to pay commission to brokers. So when the COVID thing happened, self-storage is an essential business. So, and we don't have any how I call it memorandum on all the residential properties that someone could have been staying and not paying. No, self-storage, we were fine completely. So the turnover cost. what do you really need to turn over there? We don't need to replace carpet. We don't need to fix plumbing. I mean, all of that stuff doesn't need, we just like kind of sweep and you're good. And surprisingly, for even all that stuff, we have a very sticky customers. They think they come for like 3 months, they end up staying 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. There's some crazy tenants just like that staying for like, if you see the statistics, 4% staying over 10 years. Okay. So they're what we call it, the perceived virtual actual length of stay. Most of the time people just move in, they're too lazy to go rent a truck or go pick up and remove all this stuff. They're like, I'll just keep paying. They're probably, their belongings worth like $50 and they've been already for a year paying $100. So they're already paying $1,200. And it's just, it's typical really thing. And we got flexible terms, the flexible lease terms. So our contract is just for only 1 month. What does it mean? That we can increase rents anytime we want. So obviously we're not going to be doing it every month, but typically you can do it every month. There's nothing, we don't sign a contract for 1 month. So usually we like between every 6 months, but when we buy a facility, we right away doing all the rent increases. We don't need to wait till the lease is up. So right away. And then when we, for example, if we have 10 by 10 and it's all been pretty much filled up, we can increase that one even higher. So this is what we call dynamic pricing. So whenever we have a demand more for, let's say, bigger unit sizes, we will increase those prices. When for small, if less, we're not going to be as much increasing. So it's really dynamic pricing. You're probably familiar with it through hotels or airlines, right? That's what they do. But I just recently found out that actually self-storage has an even more complex dynamic pricing algorithm, because with airlines, obviously, usually hotels, it's really come and go quick, right? With storage units, we usually have a long term. So we're really very careful for what price we will be renting. So there's amazing software that you will just really so much more maximize your profits by doing that. And I enjoy like really calculating with it and seeing, let's increase this more, this one is less. You don't do, some people just, let's say even they do just, let's increase everything 5%. No, like you do like here maybe 3%, here maybe 13%, really depending. And some of them, you don't even look at the size. Some of them is closer, let's say if you're looking at A-class facility, you have elevators. The one that's accessible quicker to next to elevator, those are cheaper, right? The ones that's at the end and some corner that's hard, it will be more, even more cheaper, obviously. So I love that part, you're really seeing where you can make that extra buck that for NOI, for your bigger profits, it actually becomes a bigger numbers. So let's keep talking about money. Let's keep comparing our asset classes, right? The multifamily and self-storage. So multifamily, you're making profits about $1.02 per square foot, where with self-storage, $1.12. So I know you sometimes would ask a question and I ask myself, but come on, you usually have this nice, apartment to you, you're offering so much more amenities and most like people live there and eat and breathe, whereas self-storage not. But because self-storage offers you a smaller size. For example, we usually get for 5 by 5, you get more price per square foot than you will get 10 by 20, just because the size wise. And that what happens sometimes that not very intelligent builders will think, oh, we can make so much more money with 5 by 5. So they will put a bunch of 5 by 5 in small units, but you can't do that. You have to be always looking at what is there's demand for what type size of unit. So again, self-storage is winning here, right? Let's go next. My favorite one is the expense ratio, right? We already talked about maintenance, we talked about management. So the expense ratio for self-storage is only on average, I personally underwrite it and I'm being conservative. I put 35% expense ratio, but the bigger facility, the smaller expense ratio, very little facility, like it may go to like 37, I would say. But yeah, in multifamily, you know what it is. And let's compare. So you think, okay, this is all great, but there's probably not as much self-storage in the United States. And interesting, let's compare the unit comparison of different asset classes. Single family. In the United States, we have about 15 million. Apartments, 16 million. Mobile home parks, 1.4 million. And self-storage, 25 million units. Yes, exactly. I was surprised myself. So those are real stats. There's from this, sources I've been sourcing all the things too. I'm not just coming up with this stuff. So yeah, there's more units in general to offer. Obviously, again, you're thinking because self-storage units are much smaller than when you offer apartment or single family. And again, you would wonder, but there's not so many self-storage. So when you drive around and you see Starbucks, you see McDonald's, you see Dunkin' Donuts, Pizza Hut, and what else is there? Wendy's. All of them combined, there is still more self-storage than all of those things. So you probably notice you drive around, you see a Starbucks here or McDonald's there. All of them, there's actually more self-storage, which is mind-blowing. And self-storage, they're usually not as little spot for like coffee shop, right? Or like fast food. It's really, many of them are really large. So there's a good amount of them. There's a good amount of them when you compare like that. So let's talk about what we're investors really care. We don't care about all these stats really. What we really care is about the returns. So the stats from 1994 to 2017, self-storage had the highest return on all the asset classes. Yeah, the highest one was, I think data centers, something like that, something we don't know what is really talking, not something you can get into, but yeah, has the highest returns. And on top of that, what we really want to think about in the world where we're living in right now, the recession resiliency of self-storage. You probably heard about it. And the beautiful thing is not only good when it's the bad times, it's also good when the economy is actually booms. So because why? And I will get into in the economy what we will be doing. Amazon, Walmart, you go and buy a bunch of stuff. So that's why when economy, people start buying like nice toys, vehicles, right, boats. So it all explains. And during the recent recession, self-storage had very small loss, as well as even during the coronavirus period. Self-storage actually got better because, let me explain why. Because where customers come from, they're downsizing. So you lost your job during coronavirus. What you do, you go live with your parents, and you probably will move all your stuff to self-storage. Then people have been stuck in the side of houses during coronavirus, and they probably get divorced. Some of them that didn't get along too much together. Then we got, and this is an unfortunate one and a funny one, there has been death. And this is the life. That's what the fact is. And dislocating. People have been moving around so much, and during COVID even more. So those all factors obviously just made our rates. Everybody's talking about that, like the occupancy been skyrocketing during virus, which is unbelievable. And so also the banks are loving it because it has the least default rate. But this will be changing because there's a lot of being crazy, stupid builders and people that self-storage is so cool. I have a land, let's build a storage here. Back in the days it worked. Nowadays it doesn't work. So this is from 2018. Right now it's higher because people are really start doing it without doing proper research, proper feasibility studies, supply demand analysis. Number one thing for self-storage is supply demand analysis. Nothing matters. So really, I don't have it actually on the slide, but really it's all about supply demand. It's finding out. What I do if I get a deal, I call competitors. I literally pick up my phone, do a mystery shopping. Hi, my name is Anna. I'm looking to rent a unit. I'm probably going to move in with my mom. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm kind of trying to get a feel of their occupancy. I want to maybe this unit or that, or maybe my husband will bring an RV with me. How much do you charge for RV? So I'm trying to get a feel and calling places and see how they're doing. If they're offering me a bunch of discounts, then it means maybe they're not doing so well. They have a bunch of units available, all the sizes. But if the other way around, they say, oh, we only have this and that, or you know what, we don't have anything right now. Then I'm like, oh, this is an exciting market. So anyway, so coming back, so highest, right? We have here the we also have this, when banks see what's default rate, they see it's the safest loans. So obviously banks love it. And we also have SBA loan, which is Small Business Administration loan, which offers up to 90% leverage, LTV. So, I mean, usually it's between 85 to 90. So you don't have to like put down as much money if you go SBA route. Other banks you will see usually normally easily like 70%, 75%, but with SBA you have an option here, which is a great option. So again, in talking about the lower risk, high returns, I mean, aren't we as investors get so much excited about it? So banks loving it, investors loving it. So, and this is I'll tell you, this is the 3 ways I told you how you can get involved. Simple as that. As I did first time, invest passively. I invested first actually passively in self-storage, but I had a strategy behind it. And what I did, I wanted to learn behind the scenes, right? What are those syndicators for self-storage doing? So I approached one investor who wasn't this like big guy that does a bunch of million dollar syndication self-storage. I approached somebody who was more accessible person. And I said, I'd be willing to invest with you. However, I want to kind of, can I learn behind the scenes? Can I see? He's like, yeah, of course, I'll show you. And it's been the greatest investment. I didn't only invest in getting, when I got the K1 to reduce all my taxes, I first was confused. What is that negative amount that they send me? Like several $1,000s. So it just deducted like crazy my taxes. So, and also actually being being a passive investor first, and then asking someone to invest passively was the best experience ever. So it's really being in those shoes and getting involved, whether you want or whether you don't want to be active investor in self-storage. So let's say you're already investing passively with multifamily. Why not diversify? Or let's say you invest actively in multifamily. Why not diversify and invest passively in self-storage? And then you will see maybe you want or don't want. So I think this is just an easy, great way to enter the industry and become a self-storage investor. So next one I want to talk about, that self-storage is still one of the most exciting asset class in that matter, is that it's still fragmented. So if you can see mom and pop, those like small owners that own usually 1 to like maybe 5 facilities. I think they're like, 1 to like maybe 10 facilities. Some of them like they're probably still writing some financials in the paper. Some of them you never find on Google, and there's still 76% of them right now. Actually, let me get this number gets definitely lower. We're getting to like 71, 2 or something, or 3, something around that, where all these big REITs who we're talking about, Public Storage, CubeSmart, Life Storage, all those only 7%. Actually, it's again increasing. These numbers are from, I think 2017. Yeah, it says over there 2017. So these numbers are really start to shift. But let's compare to apartments which are 50 plus. Which are 50 plus units. Okay, this is not the small amount. This is 50 plus units. You get only all those big guys already owning pretty much all the market. So you left out with only that 7%. So self-storage will be that one day, maybe. So it's time to attack those mom and pops. Maybe you're driving around and like seeing some self-storage, just drive around and actually, maybe, you can let me know if you see it by any chance, but you can find those hidden that no one knows. And so how about, we all love to talk about value add, right? We all always value add into our real estate and our assets. So self-storage has comparatively low, like cheaper, low cost value adds. The one that I talked about is tech, is actually putting the website up, putting those automated gate and all those systems in place, curb appeal, making it look pretty, marketing, just simply putting the Google ads to make sure you're on top of the SEOs, search engine optimization, management. We discussed that. Ancillary incomes, I want to tell you, and adding more units. So ancillary incomes. So this is all this bunch of options how you can add value to your facility. So one of the coolest one I would say is billboard. So you can just put that billboard and you get that $2,000, $1,000, $3,000 of just having the billboard on your property. So another one is having the truck rentals. U-Haul will just give you their truck and you have zero cost for it. They just put in there and you don't even have to have a person. You have a drop box, people pick up. That's another great ancillary income. People have propane filling. Depends on what really your market is asking there. Obviously, we have all the fees like people are having in other asset classes, but you can be creative there and maybe there's demand for specific business that you can put in front of your property. And my favorite one, and that's the one that we are working on right now, is the expansion. So you have a facility and you have all this land. And let's say if this belongs all to you or it doesn't, you either can buy this, or if it all belongs to you, you already have. So why just wasted land, right? As long as you have your occupancy is high, there's demand, you can just build more storages. You don't typically do this with multifamily, but self-storage, this is what we're doing. We're going to be doubling in the size of our facility, and it's very, very exciting. Another one is putting RV and boat storages. So you can just keep it. Sometimes people gravel and open parking spaces, or you can get more high end and put your canopies, and put a prop like electricity so people can charge it. You can have a dump station and all that stuff. So there's a great opportunity right now. Actually, RV has been in scarcity since the COVID started. People prefer to use RVs instead of driving, actually flying, and because of all the virus situation. So there's high demand, and this is very interesting. If you know of any land and you maybe see some RV parks that's full, let me know. I mean, let's put some RV parks there. Their expense ratio is about like 20-ish, 20%, like 20-ish something. So it's even lower. So it's even less hassle. And usually you don't even deal with those auctions because people are usually not going to abandon their RVs. It just doesn't happen. So you don't have to, those customers are the best customers who owns RVs. So, and you don't have much liability. There are some of them that offer A-class facility, like very AA with a valet. But when you have valet, you right away get all the liability if something happens. Where in here, you just park. If even something happens, you got nothing to do with it. Really, that's the beautiful part about it. So, and my most favorite, and this is the one that I'm potentially thinking that I'm gonna be focusing on, and it's this. What is this? This is, I'm not getting into Kmart business, no, because something from this, you can make this. And this could be very, very profitable if you know what you're doing. You can get into markets where you can't find land, you can't find another self-storage, you're not zoned, you can't zone, and even let's say like you can't build more because of the zoning. When you have something like Kmart or Sears or a warehouse or some type of building that's just staying and not being useful, the city wants it to be used. So you can give it and do a favor for a city and convert it into storage. And right now, due to all the crazy steel increased prices, the labor, like people just don't want to work in the United States anymore. So here you have already structure in place, right? You have, obviously there will be still cost. You have to be very careful that you're not buying something like that's structurally destroyed or anything, but there's really amazing opportunity out there for that. So let me tell you one thing, like this is like exactly a warehouse. So another way that you can get involved is to find a deal like that. Let's say you're pursuing your multifamily or anything, and you just find out about some warehouse or somewhere you drive around and like seeing that abandoned building or seeing that empty. Oh, you've been passing by there 100 times and you see there's nothing, no activity going on. Find out information. And you can make great, like as a wholesaler in this deal, really good commission on this. Like I'm not the one who can take it. I know several people who would be very excited to take on. So, and size wise, it's really depends. I mean, I would say 50,000 plus square feet is the best, because usually you would be able to utilize like 75% of it. Obviously the rentable square foot, because you will need to put hallways and office and all that stuff, but AC units, mechanical rooms, plus you're gonna lose some space because the layout has not made particularly, but usually typically 75%. So if we'll say you get 100,000 square feet warehouse, you can have a 75,000 square feet rentable storage units, which is amazing. So, and let's say even like what's let me see what we have here. Okay, so now let's keep talking about the industry itself. That right now it's worth, it's actually even more. It's getting to like $40 million. For $40 billion, the revenue of the industry. And it's growing, and it's not going really anywhere. Why? Because the utilization of self-storage been growing steadily and very nicely. So, and if you see, this is old stat, 2018. Let me tell you what's it right now. Over 10% of population using self-storage. So, and it's increasing. With, like I said, we're just this type. Americans are this type of people. They just keep collecting and collecting things. So, besides that, at the tenant base, you would wonder, okay, you have many people have garages and all the basements, but 65% of people who have used the storage, they have garage, they have attics, and they have basements. They still love self-storage. So why isn't everybody investing in self-storage if it's such an exciting asset class? Yep, that's what's been happening. Many has been investing. So people just been building, like I said, some of them building stupidly. It just, this like line just, it goes up and up. So there's a lot of overbuild markets. So you have to be very careful with like urban areas, right? The very main markets. I personally would stay away from them because there's all these big guys just building, and it's just insane. So there's definitely a high entry barrier for the industry becomes. However, don't forget, we don't need to be talking only about that urban like Miami, New York, and all those top big markets. You have all the other United States. I see the suburban area is the best to invest. We're talking about secondary, tertiary markets. There are so many opportunities there in self-storage, even like in a small thousand, really literally the town of 1,000 people, you need a self-storage there. And there's a whole metric that you calculate. Anywhere in rural area, you need self-storage. It just really calculating and seeing if there's any that's under construction, other permits has been released. If not, okay, let's see, let's build, let's buy, let's convert, let's expand. And we have a whole United States, and self-storage, it's so localized. So let's say you have in like one of these rounds, you see that there's maybe an oversupply, but you go 5 miles away. We usually calculate self-storage by miles. You go 5 miles away, it's in a way you're already in new market, because people usually don't drive. In like urban area, you would take like 2 miles away. In suburban, 5 miles. In rural, like 7 to 10 miles. And you see, if you go another 5 mile extra, you will see that maybe over there is not enough self-storage. So next 5 miles, oh, there's too much. So it's also localized. When you do an analysis, you really look carefully in all those numbers. So yeah, let me tell you, there's this all awesome asset classes. Flipping is amazing. It's great stuff. Multifamily, I love the multifamily. Senior living, I was always kind of wanted to get distracted and start like doing something senior living. No, I stick with self-storage. mobile home parks. I mean, that's definitely something very interesting that you can get involved. And retail, beautiful retail. But let me tell you, I'll stick with my garages. Yes, but not with this one. Better with those ones. Okay, definitely, definitely. So let me share with you the third way. The third way how you can get involved is really simple. Become a partner, right? I mean, maybe you don't want to just, you find that building that is empty and you know what, you want to have a piece of equity, you want to get involved instead of just getting that wholesale awesome fee. You can become a partner, or you find a deal somewhere, self-storage. You know what, can I become a partner? I will play this role. And we all have this, like, do your SWOT analysis of yourself. You've probably heard what SWOT analysis. They usually talk about business. I never hear people doing a SWOT analysis about themselves. I did SWOT analysis about me. I know my strengths, weaknesses, what opportunities I have, and threats. And I know many of you have different strengths than I am. You have different weaknesses than I am. You have different opportunities and you have different threats. So if by partnering, we can really, by partnering, not only we can also buy together more, and we can able to sell as a portfolio. So instead of where I can buy just this, maybe together we can buy this and this and then sell it for 30% more than we could have done it by ourselves. So really through self-storage, we can achieve that freedom of choice, what we want to do in life, what we want to do for others. And there's so many different ways where for you, I can tell you right away, you can invest passively. It's not as hard. Just do your homework. You can find a deal. You've probably been passing by, or you've probably been talking to the broker, and you maybe ask that broker, hey, we've been talking about multifamily. Do you have any self-storage by any chance? Or become a partner. Let's partner and do this together. Together, we can be so much more powerful. That's why I didn't stick with the residential stuff and I stick with commercial, because you can do all that cool stuff in commercial and self-storage. So yes, guys, that's been amazing to share with you what I've learned so far, how you can get involved, and just reach out. This is my phone number, my email, and I'll be more than welcome. You can even actually go to the topchoiceinvestmentgroup.com and book a call there. There's that's right away. You click and choose a time and schedule a call with me. Simple as that. And we can talk more about self-storage or something else. Why not? Let's talk about something else too. So thank you.
Wow. Great presentation, Masha. Great presentation. Love it. I know that we got some eager questions that are gonna be coming. Desmond already raised his hand. I know Janelle already got some questions to ask. So I'm not going to really hold you. I'm gonna ask 2 questions. I'm gonna let you go. What was your biggest obstacle when you first got into self-storage?
There's been probably so many obstacles. Honestly, that's a thing that you never know what obstacles you will get. So it's really having those mentors, those coaches, that knowledge, those partners to be there and to have that big why when you're ready to give up, when you had over 100 banks say no to you, and you still keep going and finding ways. I knew that my big why is that I can transform this world. It just wasn't just for me, it was for bigger thing. I was able to keep going. And like I said, number one was definitely getting a loan, because I personally didn't have it. And I thought I brought proper partners in my team so we can get a loan. And I still messed there. Like I still missed there because I brought an experienced partner, but he was less than 20% and he didn't want to guarantee the loan. I should have confirmed that and I did not. He just came and then I brought another partners who have amazing credit history with a bunch of residential, like over 30 residential plus 1 multifamily. Banks didn't care because none of us live in that state. So all of us live out of state and none of us could guarantee a loan. So that was definitely the biggest hurdle. So if you ever decide to do self-storage, either get a self-storage in your state, which is not really necessary. I would have been limited to Florida, and Florida is a competitive market. So it's really, actually, I had an option to partner with a partner who was living in North Carolina, but I did not do that because I did not understood the matrix. So that's probably was number one hurdle. At the end, we got private money, and we will be soon refinancing while we're doing this expansion. So that's probably number one.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Can you put your information? I see Andy asked for your information again. I get you.
Sure, of course.
And then final question before I leave attendees. All right, so I already know the story. So was that Kmart idea because of what AJ has done?
No, I've heard it before somewhere. AJ also done it. I mean, it's something that's been, people have been doing it for sure. It's start happening, and it's just, it can be confusing. There's no exact formula for that.
Right.
And that's where it's kind of new thing. And that's where I think to focus on that, and maybe even really focusing particularly on this type of strategy, what they say, focus. I've been spreading myself lately a lot for sure, in a way that I've been, instead of keeping just acquiring, I decided to get into construction. Like, oh my God. So this has been another new learning experience, but conversion projects is something that can be extremely profitable. Like I said, you can get into markets where you can't get any other way around.
Right. Okay. So I just know the story because AJ told me personally about how they split up the Kmart, and my biggest takeaway when he told me that story was that if you think outside the box, so the idea was AJ basically put a roll in between that Kmart that they purchased and made self-storage unit and made a row in between them. So, there's a lot of different things. I mean, you can look at Airbnbs and you have a theme. You just got to think outside the box, and AJ, I know, and like you said, others have used and thought about outside the box to really have profitable self-storage units and made it real cool too for the community.
Exactly. And then what can happen most of the time, the problem is with the city and their regulations and their requirements. Right. And like, for what I love, many times what you can do, sometimes cities don't really like self-storage because why? You usually don't have many employees, meaning they're not going to be paying taxes. Plus, self-storage doesn't pay high taxes. So they're not so excited about self-storage, but you can get creative and you can make a frontage of maybe retail stores. So that's how a lot of developers will be able to get into this city by putting up front some retail stores and then back all the self-storage. And there's other, like, sometimes they don't like the looks of self-storage. So they would get creative. Like, I know I was visiting one, they put fake windows because putting real window self-storage, nobody really need windows in self-storage. So they put a bunch of fake windows just for it to make it look pretty, and the city accepted that.
Wow. And I got a little bit greedy. What was your biggest takeaway from the self-storage conference you went to?
It was really seeing why AJ is the top player right now. And what really distinguishes him is, first of all, what he always talks about, and I 100% follow that, and this is putting systems in place, really putting those systems in place, processes in place, and be able to automate things, delegate, and then empower others while just taking care of the most high-level things. That's number one. Number two is he just marketed himself so well. I mean, he has the best content you can find on self-storage, quality, proper, in like that, in kind of grabbing attention content on Instagram. I think he's the only really guy that does proper content for self-storage. YouTube, he just does it so great, and his podcast became so famous. So what within it, he's sharing, where other self-storage gurus, they're hiding and they're within their coaching, their expensive coachings. He decided, you know what, I'm going to just release a book, tell all the secrets, going to talk about all of that in podcasts, all in YouTube, all in Instagram. I want to share everything. He even put this conference, he lost money. We had high-end like dinner on the boat and all that like fancy stuff. I paid, this was ridiculous. It was super cheap, and he lost a bunch of money, but I'm sure he did it for a reason. So he knows what he's doing. So I really see that really providing that value, not being greedy, sharing it and putting systems in place. That's what I got, that if I probably can do it, maybe I can get not too far from AJ, maybe one day.
You can achieve anything you want to. I know you're going to go to higher and higher heights. So
Thank you. Thank
let
you.
me open this up to our attendees. First, I saw the hand go up. So Desmond, please ask your question, followed by my man, Kenneth Hines.
Great story, excellent asset class.
Thank you.
The question I had was, when it comes to zoning, there's three questions. The zoning, did you actually have to buy in those zoning areas? Did you ask the city or the township for permission or to change? And is there, I know with how long it would take probably for permits, is there a yearly or inspection that the town actually to pay or something of that nature every other year or 2 years?
So when we got our facility, it was already zoned, and the previous seller, he did an expansion. So he was be able to get it rezoned, and it was really quick. So in our jurisdiction, it was easy to get done. Where I know many people, can be stuck with it for 2 years and not unable still to rezone it. So it's so much depends. So I think first thing is also what I do is actually, when I'm getting more serious or when I put an offer, and I will call the planning and the zoning department and see how they are. To see how nice they are, trying to be nice with them, obviously, and to see some experiences, seeing has been a lot of permits released lately, looking at permits has been released. And you can actually look at the software first without calling. There's software that's called the Radius Plus, which is very cheap software comparatively. Like for 1 hour of use, first it's free, and then 1 hour use is $20. And over there's already a lot, tells you what things have been planned or zoned, but it's really high level. So don't trust it 100%, but you can kind of get a feel of it. So again, it's really depends on a city and on the restrictions that are part of that. But I would say it's always worth trying and seeing if it's possible or not.
So mostly industrial?
Oh yeah, so it's mostly business industrial, yes.
It's industrial.
All right, Kenneth.
Thank you.
First, thank you, Marcia, for providing some great value to some people that don't really get a lot of visibility in this asset class. Just a question, you mentioned some of the value add strategies. Like my take is that self-storage is sort of highly commoditized. And so if you spot a couple of facilities, say are either run down or mismanaged, with like multifamily or other asset classes, you could like spruce them up, do the classic value add, fix them up. But how much of that can you do for self-storage versus, if it's in a bad location, like you mentioned, a little radius, like a couple miles, people, if it's out in the boonies, no one's going to drive to it anyway, no matter what kind of tech they put on there. So how much of that value add do you think, like how much can you turn around a storage thing that's not really, performing well?
Yeah, so what's usually you hear in value adds a lot with multifamily is more on the structural and on the looks, where with self-storage is with management and marketing. It's a lot. And by fixing it, you can definitely go and fix up things. Usually sometimes you can find run down units that not even can be rented. A lot of, like I said, mom and pop and owned that probably bought them 20 years ago. They found some land, they built them, and they just left them. And like in one of our markets, we have just completely abandoned self-storage. So, and fixing them, the doors, what the doors cost. If I'm not wrong, it's about $300 per the whole door. And then, the roof is the roof. And there's two components that can be the most expensive is roofs, obviously, and AC. If it's a climate control, obviously the whole unit. Everything else is maybe the pavement. If it's really messed up, you have to crack down. That could be a big value add that you can do. But you look at the facilities, the thing is with self-storage, usually people, they're not going to be shopping around like they do for apartment. Like if you go rent an apartment, you will go and you will take time. If they don't respond to your phone, you will wait. You will go. The self-storage, the first one that you find on Google, probably that's going to be the first one that you're going to get. You're not going to be really picky as much about it. But So when you get into market, when there's oversupply and there's a there's low demand and high supply, this is where you have to get creative more and offer something like special value adds, like offer maybe a showroom where you can demonstrate your clients how and everything, and offer like selling boxes, selling dollies, and even vending machines. So when we got into this deal, the facility was itself already in good shape, so there was no need to do revamp. But what the owner did, he actually put the price, the rent rates on their wall, saying this unit for this unit for this, and he kept them for like that. We just get in, we put he had fake cameras, so we put the real cameras because we are remotely managing, so we wanted to be able to watch it. And we removed that prices, and we like increased the rents. We just like some small little value adds, and the market just demanded that. So yeah, it's really depending on evaluating what's there in the market. Did I answer your question?
Yep.
Great. I can probably keep going, but I'm gonna stop. James, please.
Thank you very much, Marsha. What a great story. Congratulations to you and all you've done.
Thank you.
You're representing the womanhood very well.
Yes.
Listen, I'm curious, this is really some smart investing going on, what you're doing. And I was struck by your initial conversation about I guess your initial steps into this was just to do the investing. So I didn't really want to get too specific with you, but I was curious, what does that initial investment look like? But more I wanted to know about is how you went from the investment, passive investor to owner to partner. What was all of that? How did that work for you? Thank you.
You're welcome. So as I understand, you were more asking the financial area of how much I had to invest myself. So initially in the active deal, correct?
Correct.
Yes, great. So I probably could have been also speaking on like topic of how to get into with a low, how they call those type of topics with low amount of money, how to get into self-storage. I could have been also talking about that because I have my partners that invested pretty much everything. I still put some equity, very small. I mean, very little with same money where everybody else put much more, but I put all the sweat equity, meaning I found a deal, I underwrote it, I created a business plan, I pursued funding, I did the due diligence, and I mean, everything, and I'm managing it right now. So I'm doing pretty much everything, and this becomes a challenge when I'm doing everything, and now becoming that I'm not the best sometimes in responses to all the connections on like LinkedIn and Instagram. So I mean, it's really, I put all the efforts to, so you can have zero. Like I really could have actually put down zero. I just wanted to invest something in myself as well, but I really could have gotten this deal with easily $0. So it's really like I was the SWOT analysis, right? What is it your strengths? Are you good at finding deals? Are you good at underwriting? Are you good at doing the business, the whole business from are you good at managing? Are you good at the rehab, actually going and figuring out what's like, this was actually one of my weaknesses in a way. I didn't grow up with my dad. I can't go and go fixing things in a house. I'm not, but I'm good with underwriting. So I have partners who, when we get to the facility, they fix up some things, they more figure out how to do that. But so it's really knowing what you're good at and what you want to do, and then finding the opposite of you. And if the finances are not the best for you, then for example, my partners, they have nothing to do, they don't know anything about self-storage, but they wanted to get into it, and then they had cash. So they put in cash and it worked out. They're happy, I'm happy.
That's great. Thank you.
No problem. You're welcome.
Queen of York, you're up next.
Thank you. One of my biggest questions, first of all, I have to say, Masha, this is one of the best meetups I have ever attended. Thank you. I have been looking forward to this since you got scheduled in July, I believe, is when you scheduled Masha for tonight. So
Yes.
thank
Yes.
you very much for
Thank you so much.
valuable information. I cannot wait to connect with you. I'm going to schedule a call with you as
You
soon
can
as
just go to link and schedule it. That's the best.
possible.
Just go ahead. Yes.
Thank you. I am
And I'll
curious.
give you more time than it's, I think I have 30 minutes there. I'll be more than happy to speak with you more than that.
Thank you. Thank you. I am curious how you, because I've been driving around looking at self-storage facilities. I was just driving around looking at some last weekend and I'm like, and then I said, oh, Masha's speaking next week. I'm gonna keep this information in mind. So my question is, how did you pick your market? How do you know when it's a good market or when it's not? I know you talked about doing a market analysis. How did you do that? Because I listened to your interview, your podcast interview. So I knew you lived in Florida and you invested in your first facility in North Carolina. So I'm curious how you went about picking that market.
So there was no picking market. So it's reverse compared to multifamily. Multifamily, you go residential, let's say, you go pick your market and you go dig for deal. The self-storage, it's more smarter than when you look for deal, you open for, I mean, kind of maybe myself, if you find a deal for me in Washington State, which is the opposite of Florida, and it's a deal and it's in a good market, I'll take that. I'll take that without second thought. Location wise, in that matter, doesn't matter. But location really matter is really that the 5 mile radius. That's what really matters. I can be able to, because like I said, 20 mile, like a storage here in the same market and 10 miles away, it's completely different storage market. Okay, obviously population wise, you probably have the same growth. I mean, that type of information is the same, but the supply demand right here, maybe having a bunch of storages, and right here you have only this. So here will make sense to have it. And here, oh no, please don't get a self-storage here. So that's why I would say, stick maybe like I was more sticking in the Southeast states. So that's why I was able to find something in North Carolina. I was going a bit higher. But again, like I said, if a deal, I will go right away and do supply demand analysis. I don't even need to go there and see the facility. In my case, I actually went and see it, but you can just hire someone on TaskRabbit or I don't know, Craigslist, tell them I'll pay you $100 or whatever, and go do a FaceTime. I want to go see the facility. And I'm not going to waste time going and flying somewhere or driving somewhere, and just get it done. So it's all possible that to do it just that way. So don't pick your market, pick your storage, and then look at it if that supply demand market makes sense. And of course, market wise, it's similar to multifamily. You prefer to be in a growing market. You prefer to be in those like low crime and everything else. They suggest to market to be the income to be around 45,000 to 55,000, the household income. That's what they say. But again, you can't get a deal that can be lower, just lower income place, because people still need storages for low income people. So there's just, I would say, don't, some people just, they'll like try to look somewhere around their area, and that's why they can't find a deal. No, go bigger and you will be able to find. That's how I found mine, because I went bigger and just looked at all over the place.
All right, my mate, I got a returning guy back on here. If you got a question, Edmund, you got a question, please ask, sir.
Yeah, that's great. I do. Masha, it's great presentation. My question is, where you are right now, what do you perceive as your biggest bottleneck, and how can people help you to improve that?
Thank you. Conversions. I want to find, I have an experienced people who've done conversions. So I would definitely, again, I love commercial real estate because you partner with others. I would not just go and try to do conversion myself. That's where I made a bit of a mistake. We're right now expanding, doing construction, our storage, and my partners are not knowledgeable. So I go figure it out all myself. I have great mentors, coaches, and like friends, experts who willing me to go, but they don't have stake in it. so it's been definitely taking much longer to figure out, especially when the steel prices rises. So anyways, let's get back to your question. I have a few people that I know, some of them I know very well, like two of them at least, that done conversion projects. And when I would find that opportunity, I would analyze it. I have my own underwriting model that I can underwrite it and see if it's supply demand, obviously all that good stuff. Find out, oh, if that's Mark says, I'm going to be, here you go, I have this opportunity, let's partner. And this is how I will be able to partner with somebody bigger than me. And this is how you say, surround yourself with tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are, right? If I'll surround myself and be partner with somebody bigger, then and I mean, like I said, if anyone knows about some opportunity like that, you can either wholesale it to me or just maybe get a piece of equity in it too, if you want to be involved in this, or maybe not. Thank you for the question.
Excellent, thank you.
And of course, with still acquisitions still there, obviously finding, I mean, if you encounter self-storage, that's always amazing. I mean, yeah, that's and land can be land as well. It's land, I would say, putting some RV storages, RV on boat storages. It's such an interesting still asset class. There's no much formula for it. So people are still figuring it out, like conversions. People are still figuring out. So this is more like the unexplored area. And then when things are unexplored, they could be if we can get into this business now, we can be happy that 5 years after that, oh my God, we were so smart that we did it. So yeah, I think that's probably, that's a good point. I would say actually getting RV, boat storage, and conversions would be maybe my top two. And obviously it's acquisition of self-storage. Thank you.
Excellent.
Good question.
All right, two more questions for, I don't want to hold it up, but anybody got some more questions, please ask.
Just wanted to know about cap rate when it comes to storage. Is it similar to commercial, multifamily?
Yeah, so it's, since the self-storage been so hot, there have been a lot of compressed and unbelievably so not as compressed as with multifamily. And those are usually compressed like in urban areas, like metropolitan, where you usually have like those multifamily. But when you go like a bit outside, you can find still like 7 cap, 8 cap. We bought actually mine. I got it from a wholesaler. Long story short, wholesaler brought it to me. I said it's a great deal. I'm asking him a question. He doesn't respond. He doesn't respond. And then he comes back. Oh, I canceled the contract because investors didn't want to buy it, and I just canceled. I'm like, okay. I went pursue a seller and just got that way. They just didn't see the opportunity I saw there with that value add. So coming back to your question, where did I go there? What was the question? Sorry.
About cap rate.
Oh yes, cap rate. So we bought our facility at 10 cap rate actually. So yeah, we maybe didn't pay the wholesaler fee, but it still would maybe max to be like 9.5 cap rate. So he didn't just see that opportunity, like I said, the seller and the other investors. So you can find still easily in the tertiary markets like 8 cap, especially if you just pursue those mom and pops, very, very possible.
Thanks.
But other than that, I mean, you see 5 caps on those urban areas, like those A-class top facilities. It's not too far from what the multifamily is doing.
I have a question. So thank you, Marsha, for a great presentation. Thank you for being here. I have a question. You had a chart of like saturated areas. It naturally looked like very saturated. Now Chicago, because Chicago suburbs is my market, it was like very like unsaturated. And I know you did say not to focus on like a specific market, but would there be more opportunity like in like the Chicago area since it's lower on that chart? I mean, those were the top that are saturated markets. So this was the chart of the most saturated markets. Oh, okay, so it is saturated. Okay, but it is saturated. But look, again, you're talking about Chicago, but go outside of Chicago, you for sure can find something. Go to more suburb. I know Chicago has a bunch of those little towns around it. I actually studied when I came first to the United States. I went to study to Chicago for 2 years. So that's
Yeah, the Shy Town for sure.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
yeah. So no, look, just
Yeah.
don't like look a little bit outside, and don't be scared of like smaller population, because like I said, for just there is a 10% of population needs self-storage. So no matter where you are, how low, you need self-storage there.
Spread out. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah, and if anybody have any question, like, please, I mean, I hope you got my phone number, because if I haven't accepted your LinkedIn invite, you can't even message me. We really realize it. So just message me right away. I mean, you know, you have some burning questions, that will be the best. Just text me and I'll be more than happy to answer that. And even if like you just find some deal, you want to do it, I mean, I can take a look at it. I don't have to be a part of it exactly. Just like I will be more than happy to review something with you and help you out. If you need some help with competitor, like the supply demand analysis, how it's done, I can share something. I really don't mind. Just reach out and ask, please.
Wow, Masha,
You have been great. I know, that is awesome, Masha.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so happy that it's been able to add value. I mean, 2 years ago, throughout all this journey, there's been such a great people that have been there to support me. And I'm so happy to just really give back and help others 100%, for sure. That's the best feeling probably.
Yeah.
When you do 100%. So yes,
well,
thank you.
We'll be connecting soon. I think I am connected. I was trying to pull it up, but I didn't want to miss anything you were showing. But great presentation. I too have been following you. So it's been.
And your name is Shabazz?
Yeah, Christine.
Christine
is my first name, last name Shabazz. Yes.
Shabazz, I like it. Thank you, Christine Shabazz.
Thank you. Awesome meetup, Erin, as well.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you, Christine.
And I would have been here attending it. I have two things that going on exactly at 7 p.m. and at 8 a.m. And every time I'm like, I've been wanting to come to it. I've been trying to reschedule, you know, and I've been trying to moved it, and then it realized that I couldn't move. So I'm going to still try to put things in place, because I really would love to be able to come here and be part of it.
That's awesome.
That's the only reason you have never seen me here. That's really the reason why.
Well, I appreciate that so much, Masha, for that. And thank you so much. I think you added so much value to everybody on here, especially myself. And I know you're a busy woman. I see that you got other meetups you're going to attend as well. You're going to be the guest speaker. Exciting times to be you. So, and I'm happy that you had some good takeaways from the conference you went to. I was so excited when I saw the picture of you and AJ, and you was doing like this one in the picture with AJ. That was cool, right?
Yeah,
there.
he was signing the book. I was like,
yeah, that's awesome right there. So, and I told you when I talked to him a couple of weeks ago, he talked about you. I said, yeah, I'm gonna have Masha my meeting. He said, oh man, that's great, man. She's good, you know. So yeah.
That's okay. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So
and you have such an amazing group of people here. I'm so happy you got it going. Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Keep it going. There's all awesome people right here. Fantastic. Thank you for doing all that for everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a question.
Okay. Last question.
So you mentioned you said anything over like 100,000 square feet would be good for storage.
No. For this was just an example. For conversion projects, preferably somewhere like 50,000 plus, but you can also go with like 40,000 plus, because you will be able to utilize about 75% of it. So I gave an example. If you have a warehouse of 100,000 square feet, you probably will be able to get 75,000 rentable square feet, right? So with self-storage, I mean, I would say go like 10,000 square feet plus. And I would say that it should have opportunity. Like if it's 10,000, I would want to see some land either already that has to build, or maybe nearby. You don't have to be like, right, maybe you can buy land right next to it, or maybe you can buy land like somewhere not too far away, and it can be kind of you know, the same property, just on a little bit different territories. So I would say 20,000 square feet preferably, but it can be 10,000 if there's expansion opportunity.
Okay. Thank you. Your presentation was wonderful.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's the most important, that you got something from it.
Good to see you on here, Mar. And look, we're gonna wrap this up. Masha, you are free to stay. We're gonna go to breakout rooms in just 1 minute.
Sure.
I do want to say that this meetup is every Thursday at 7 p.m. And you guys are always welcome to come. Next week's guest will be Adapia. If you want to learn about crypto, we learn about blockchain, you want to learn about
That's cool.
capital raising, that's going to be a great one next week with Adapia. So please come back next week. I took the Make Real Estate Real course. I've been talking about it for months. I took it. It's awesome. I would recommend it to anybody, especially somebody new getting into real estate. It's only a $9.99 course. You learn things head to toe about real estate, more so about wholesaling, fix and flipping, asset management, property management, credit. Excellent course. Excellent course. I met Jamal King while I was in Atlanta with my main man, Lawrence Laddie, and great guy and great organization they got going on. Also, look, I always forget this, but this meetup is a proud affiliate of the GOB network. So if you guys want to learn more about the GOB network, please get with me. We got plenty of people on the GOB network on this call. All right, so look, we're going to start the breakout rooms. If you guys had to leave, now is the time. I'm going to break this out into a couple rooms and 2 rooms. And then after that, we go straight to the after party. And you know, it's a good time with the after party. So I'm going to set this up right now. So what's up, Caroline? I see you. How you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for asking.
Good, good, good.